It continues
this is a very strong
to rattle
earthquake.
pretty strong here.
8:21 here on the air.
Walking through the ancient streets of Jerusalem is like stepping into the living pages of the Bible. Nowhere is this more evident than in the Christian Quarter, a sacred and historical district that draws millions of pilgrims and believers each year. This journey, beginning in the Christian Quarter and culminating at the tomb of Jesus, is not merely a physical path through narrow stone streets and holy landmarks. It is a spiritual pilgrimage into the very heart of Christian faith. Each step reveals profound stories of sacrifice, divine love, and eternal hope. From the Christian Quarter to the Stone of Unction, to the rocky outcrop of Calvary, and finally to the empty tomb of Jesus, the journey tells the story of the passion, death, and resurrection of Christ. The Christian Quarter is one of the four quarters of the Old City of Jerusalem, and it holds some of the most sacred sites in Christianity. Dominated by the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, this area serves as a spiritual hub for Christians from all around the world. The quarter is filled with ancient churches, monasteries, and hospices, many of which belong to different Christian denominations, such as Greek Orthodox, Armenian Apostolic, Roman Catholic, and Coptic. As you enter through the Jaffa Gate, the path winds through bustling markets and cobbled alleyways, giving a glimpse into the daily life of Jerusalem while echoing ancient reverence. The air feels charged with holiness as pilgrims carry crosses or walk in silent prayer, retracing the steps of Christ during his final hours. Just inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the first major station of the Passion is the Stone of Unction, a large slab of limestone where, according to tradition, the body of Jesus was laid and anointed after his crucifixion. The stone lies just inside the church's entrance and immediately draws attention. Pilgrims kneel, weep, and lay hands or cloths on the stone, hoping to absorb the grace and power of that sacred moment. The smell of myrrh and rose oil, frequently poured over the stone, adds to the solemn atmosphere. For many, this moment is overwhelming. It is where grief meets grace. The Stone of Unction is more than just a memorial. It's a place where hearts are broken and mended, where the cost of sin and the price of love converge. Continuing through the church, the journey leads upward to Calvary, or Golgotha, the site traditionally held to be the place where Jesus was crucified. Located within the same church building, Calvary is accessed via a steep flight of stairs, ascending to an ornate altar that marks the spot of the crucifixion. Behind the altar lies a silver disc with a hole in the center, through which pilgrims can reach to touch the bedrock of Golgotha. Above it hangs a life-size crucifix, and the area is adorned with rich Eastern Christian icons, lamps, and mosaics. Despite the decor, the weight of sorrow and triumph is tangible. Here, the reality of Christ's suffering and death becomes personal for many. To kneel at the site where Jesus gave his life for humanity is a moment of deep reflection. Tears flow, prayers are whispered, and hearts are humbled. Just a few steps from Calvary lies the most celebrated site in Christian faith, the tomb of Jesus. Enshrined within the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the tomb is housed in a small chapel-like structure known as the aedicule. The exterior is constantly surrounded by lines of pilgrims waiting for a brief but meaningful moment inside. As you enter, the noise of the outside world fades, and a hushed awe fills the space. The tomb chamber is small, humble, and bathed in the soft glow of candlelight. Here, according to centuries of tradition, the body of Jesus was laid, and from here, he rose again on the third day. The tomb is empty, not in defeat, but in victory. It is this emptiness that has changed the world. For Christians, it symbolizes the resurrection, the defeat of death, and the hope of eternal life. Many people emerge from the tomb visibly moved, some in tears, others in quiet reverence. They have touched not just history, but the foundation of their faith. What makes this journey from the Christian Quarter to the tomb of Jesus so unique is that every step along the way is filled with layers of theological, emotional, and spiritual depth. You are not just observing sacred sites, you are participating in the divine story. The Christian Quarter grounds you in the community of faith, reminding you that Christianity is both universal and personal. The Stone of Unction connects you to the humanity of Christ, the tenderness of his followers, and the rituals of love and mourning. Calvary confronts you with the weight of sin and the power of the cross, and the tomb declares in silent triumph that Jesus lives. This path through Jerusalem has been walked by saints, pilgrims, popes, and the faithful for centuries. It is a sacred thread that ties generations of believers to the moment when heaven touched earth and eternity entered time. Whether you travel this road with your feet or with your heart, it leads to the same destination: a deeper understanding of God's love, a renewed hope in the resurrection, and a profound encounter with the living Christ. The journey through the Christian quarter, past the stone of unction, up to Calvary, and finally to the tomb of Jesus, is more than just a tour through Jerusalem. It is a pilgrimage of the soul. It is where faith meets fact, history meets heaven, and the sorrow of the cross transforms into the joy of the empty tomb. Every Christian, if possible, should take this journey. And for those who cannot, meditating on these sacred landmarks can still bring one closer to the heart of Christ and the power of his resurrection.